Today we've got the last dev diary about great powers, meaning great powers, because the next dev diary will be about smaller powers, and this is gonna be about Great Britain, which is gonna get two puffs, a British one and Angevin Kingdom, or however it is pronounced, puff. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. So you can see that first point that they're making is that, because I'm sure many of you remember when England got a huge patch in DLC in 1.25, giving them one of the biggest mission trees, and that might feel like it wasn't a long time ago, but in fact that was 5 years ago. Yes, that's how fast the time is passing. Actually, I think Root Britannia was the first DLC I got from Paradox for free, so that's how long I've been on YouTube. And the point is, even though it was great at the time, over time it feels not so up to date. That's why they want to update this. So the British mission tree is gonna be split on a couple of parts. Internal affairs around, of course, Church of England, War of the Roses, the Reformation, and the English Civil War. Then we have the conquest path of the British Isles, trade domination of Europe, colonizing the New World, conquest of India, and at last internal development. So starting with the classic missions about the British conquest of the Isles, there will be, and that's actually really nice, because most of the mission tree, big chunk of the mission tree is gonna be focused on unique parliament issues. So it's gonna be actually worth to stare as a parliament and use all of these OP bonuses, but about them a bit later. A quality of life change is that if you take Scotland, you can still buy Orkney from Norway, which wasn't possible in the past. You had to be Scotland to do it. Then we have a part of the mission about the colonizing the New World, and here again, this is gonna be a huge boost, and I think England might be more OP on colonization than Portugal, unless Portugal gets something extra in the future dev diaries. Because look, you can unlock plus 33% colonial range and ability to recruit explorers and conquistadors for 25 years, which means that you can explore the New World without exploration ideas. You can just take expansion with 2 colonists and take a big advantage out of that. This is super nice. At the same time, as told, the parliament issues. So what are we having here for the colonial venture? Settlers in charisma? Okay, but, and that is, I absolutely love it. Can choose the trade good of a finished colony as long as this modifier is active, and +1 to each development. So this is of course thing that you have already as an age bonus. So if you get it in Age of Discovery, you get +6 development for each colony. That's OP. How about this? That's how it works. When your colony is finished, you'll be able to choose one of the trade goods. One that the colony got, so you just click the first option, all 3 other trade goods that are the most popular trade goods in this province, so they had the highest chance of being there. Now you might think, so why don't I do cocoa everywhere, or why don't you do gold mines? Well, first of all, there needs to be a chance for this trade good in a province, and then even if you want to spam one type of a trade good, they actually made it more or less balanced, meaning that first of all, you have to pay money to get the trade good, and if the base cost of that trade good is above 2.5, you also have to pay admin mana, and then every time you pick the same trade good again, the price is gonna keep increasing. So as they say, if you want to establish a fish and chips company and monopoly, so it's 25, then it's 50, then it's 75, it keeps increasing, and it's same as we have over here. See, for gems, which is more expensive, it's 14.5, and then it could also keep scaling. It's even more harsh for the gold mines. You can see base is 137, and each time you take it again, it's gonna cost more and more. So yes, you can have plenty of gold mines, but you have to be able to afford it, which is actually nice, because if you you want to focus everything on the colonial, you have to spend your admin mana somewhere and money, right? Let's invest that into the gold mines. They're gonna pay you back. By the way, sorry if my green screen does this kind of things, but I have a huge sun outside and it's just breaking my green screen, but I hope that won't bother you guys. Another quality of life change is that there's a decision that can toggle off this event, so you don't have to micromanage every time the colony finishes, so it's also good. When the missions settle in America and colonize the Caribbean, which is giving even more capabilities. So what do we have? These 2 are mutually exclusive, so taxation acts and acts of representation. So it's either global tariffs, trade efficiency, and yearly tax income, or liberty desire, diplomatic reputation, diplomatic annexation cost. Now, I'm struggling if I like it or not. Because remember, Great Britain is having diplomatic annexation costs in their national ideas already. Right, so if you take also influence ideas and you also take admin ideas for the policy, then you might annex stuff pretty cheaply. I like it, it's gonna be OP because I would like to try it, but at the same time, maybe it's worth thinking about, rebalancing into something else that the diplomat annexation cost. Oh yeah, finally the mission Dominate the New World gives a permanent modifier which also benefits your colonial subjects. So there's a trade efficiency in global tariffs. Again, global tariffs, you can stack a lot of tariffs. I mean, the tariffs got nerfed also like 5 years ago or 6. They were more OP before, you have no idea, guys. Because you could just subsidize your colony, then it was increasing how much money they're getting, which was increasing how much they were paying you back. So perpetuum mobile. But it's not like this anymore. Good, because I feel like the tariffs modifiers a bit too low, it's not giving you much, and there will be another bonus, which is actually here. Colonial subjects gain plus 50% production efficiency and 50% trade efficiency. Remember, they trade in the New World is minimal because you're taking most of it, but there's some. And also production efficiency does not increase your trade income because it's not affecting the good product modifier, just the production income. Then you have unique stuff for India, where actually you have a choice. Get permaclaims on whole India and conquer it. You can create an East India Company in India, which is a commercial enterprise, about which I'll talk a bit later. Or the third option, you release East India Company and you play as it. So guys, if you do this, I'd love to play it, but make sure to make achievement. We play for achievements, so please, I'm pretty sure they already did it, but I'm just speaking for the crowd. East India Company has a unique merchant republic government, which is all of this stuff like trade posts, trade league, trading cities, giving production efficiency, manpower, naval force limit, trust of federals, gov capacity, and maximum tolerance of the maximum trust of heavens. That's actually interesting. And then we have their own ideas, which is pretty much a trade employer. What we have here: global trade power from provinces, tolerance of heavens again, global trade power, global landers, gov capacity, global trade goods, so goods produce modifier, merchant power. Global manpower, global sailors, trade steering, trade range, trade efficiency, build cost, so construction cost, and trade company investment cost. But I'm only worried about this, because you can only create trade companies outside of your capital subcontinent. So if you're in India and your capital is in India, you cannot create trade companies in India. You can only do it outside. So unless you move your capital out of it or expand outside of it, it's pretty useless. So I'm just thinking how maybe it's gonna be also something unique that India Trade Company can create trade companies within the same subcontinent. That would be actually cool to see. And we have a mission Masters of India. So we have to conquer 200 provinces in India. I think there's like 250 over there, so most of it. And that's just giving you permanent power projection, another diplomatic annexation cost. Yes, that's why I'm a bit worried. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be easy to get to 90% as Great Britain and annex everyone for free, but I'm not sure if I see the point of it. Again, maybe something instead of that. One of these two diplomatic annexation, sure, keep it, but the other should be replaced with something different. Meanwhile, autonomy territories, it's interesting. Then you have commercial enterprise and protectorates gain 15% goods price modifier. I feel like, guys, we have to play another 1 million income campaign, because with the new patch there's so many new possibilities, also with the new government reforms, to make it far higher than 1.7 million I did in the past. These are the colonial missions. Now we move to the internal missions. So we have first of the relationship with the church, so with the clergy, where we have Anglican State Church, that's tolerance of the true faith, church power and max absolutism, versus conciliars of the churches, diplomat, trust of the heretics, and diplomatic reputation. Then we have missions, which is giving another mutual exclusive guarantee form, where you have to choose between direct royal administration, that's reform progress from the level of advisors administrative, co-creation costs, yearly absolutism, max absolutism, parliament effect duration, and parliament administration. Granting parliament seats increases loyalty of all the states by 1%, but it's permanent or just by 1% and then decays. I think it decays, that's more balanced. Parliament seats decrease local monthly devastation by 0.5% and local autonomy by 0.0 to maybe 0.2 would be, 0.1 would be more balanced, so 0.05. 0.002 is kinda lame and useless. Then we have improved relations and monthly favor growth modifiers, so that's quite nice. When you enter the age of absolutism, you have the struggle between the crown and constitution. So you're changing to parliamentary monarchy struggle to make your life a bit more of a pain. You have all of these negative modifiers. And then parliament versus monarchy ability. So again, this little thing in the government that is going, this bar, it goes from minus 100 to 100, where at 100 you're getting national unrest, monthly autonomy changing max absolutism, or at minus 100 you're getting also global unrest, 10 years of nationalism, and 10 idea calls on the minus yearly absolutism. So now, how to get rid of that, because that's pain in the ass, right? Once you get as fast as possible to 100 or minus 100, you're gonna get the event the conflict escalates, which allows you to get the English Civil War a bit easier. Then it works similar way as it worked in the past, so it's quite easy to get rid of it. And once you get rid of it, you can embrace one of the two types of the governments, depending on which path you choose. If you chose the absolute monarchy path, you still keep the parliament, but you can see the number of possible parliament issues is -2, so you have far lower choice. And you can revoke seats in the parliament, then it's also max absolute is 20, and yearly absolute is 0.5. Okay, then we have the Parliamentary Republic, which is of course a republic. More of armies, that's interesting. Monthly autonomy change, 0.05. Can revoke seats. Parliament debate backing change 25%, so it's far easier. You have to spend less resources to get the issue done. And number of possible issues +1. That's good. So you have maybe make it +2 just to mirror the changes in both. And finally, if you let the parliamentaries win, but decide to become a monarchy after Cromwell's death, then you're getting British monarchy. Diplomats, -15 absolutism. Annexation relations impact. This is actually interesting, especially if you go the path of annexing everyone. Then the impact on relations is pretty significant if you annex 10 nations in 10 years, right? Parliament debate backing chance 10% and parliament effect duration +5. This one is actually worth considering versus this one. Then if you complete the mission, the Free Kingdom Wars, there is gonna be a reward, unlock parliament issues which can modify your national ideas. How is it gonna work? So apparently you can, I understand it, that you can permanently change one of your national ideas. You can change infantry compatibility to more of navies if you want to focus on navies more. And that your navy is gonna be OP if they do that. You can change additional relations to production efficiency, which is I think a good exchange. And finally, you can change heavy ship compatibility to land fire damage if you want to focus on the military instead. You can revoke the changes that you did, so if you want to take back the infantry compatibility, but it's gonna cost you free stability. And there's here that they are thinking, Paradox is thinking, should I keep it, or it's maybe you should make it more flexible for the players to change this. And I think flexibility is a good way, but don't make it like 75 admin. Why don't you make it 1 stability? If somebody has a lot of bonuses to stab, it's gonna be 70 admin. If someone is not having too much bonuses to stab cost, it's gonna cost 200 admin, right? So it's a bit more balanced. Then we have a bit more of economical direction of the country. We have royal charters that's allowing us to establish trade protectorates, which is for us national unrest, stability, cost modifier, and illegal corruption. And how the trade protectorate is working, I think that was a feature in the past, right? That you can ask a nation, or they can ask you to become your trade protectorate, and that's gonna take 50% of their trade income to you. And in exchange, they're gonna be under your protection. So if somebody attacks, you're gonna be defending them, and they're gonna get 20% technology cost. Institutions spread production efficiency, and you, for each trade protectorate, are gonna get 5% global trade power. 2% gross price modifier per protectorate. This is really nice, and again, another reason to maybe try 1 million income run again. Oh, another additional nice fact is that if you get the thalassocracy reform, you can also establish the protectorate. So it's not like very unique only to Great Britain. House Divided is gonna give you a navy tradition and unlock a special unit, which is a navy unit. Heavy ship that is taking 1 less engagement with. So, engagement with for ships, it's combat with for the navy, and all of the ships are taking 1 combat with except the heavy ships. Heavy ships are taking 3 combat with, so 1 heavy ship is taking as much combat with as 3 galleys. It's not always so obvious that you should go always for the heavy ships. no, it's not always the truth. And this special unit is taking one less engagement with, so just 2 instead of 3. And I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but I think it might be a bit OP. We have Royal Marines that is boosting the Marines of Great Britain by giving minus 10% shock damage to shift and 5% discipline. And also the Red Coats, which I think it's not a special unit, it's a flat modifier for 10% infantry combat ability until the end of the game. Now, I think this is gonna be my favorite part of this Dev Diary, because not always, like, you're playing as England, okay, you can go colonial, but what if you want to go land dominance, stay in Europe and conquer it? Then in this case, you might have a decision that is called Destiny of England, that you get when you unlock the 100 Years Wars mission, that is allowing you to get the Angevin missions instead of the British ones, which are completely else and focus on the domination of Europe. That's how it's gonna look, and I think all the pictures are already updated, so I love them. I should use one of them in the thumbnail. And all of the colonial missions are placed with missions which nudge you into conquering vast territories of Europe. So for shattering the French nobility, you are getting, of course, again, Parliament action. Out of pretenders lost stability. In exchange, you're getting some manpower. And Acts of Union. So why it wasn't shown in the British mission tree? Because for the British mission tree, you see that you can just inherit Scotland with Tech 10. Very easy. In any case, the Angevin pack has something similar, but hear me out. For France, with one click, you can annex whole France if it's your personal union already. With no negative modifiers. And of course, by inheriting France, you're gonna form Angevin Kingdom, which is gonna look like this. I like it, but it's a bit too OP. Maybe we should follow something similar as Ottomans had with the Mamluks. Now, let's say all of the French lands start with some negative modifier, maybe increased autonomy or negative modifiers to manpower or production or tax. Something to think about, to just not to make it I click, I inherit, I'm OP. Of course, that's gonna be a problem with GAF capacity as well, but good players can handle it. So that's gonna be the flag of Angevin Kingdom, and then new ideas. Global manpower, improve relations 30%, years of separatism, and then have co-creation cost. Global tax modifier, number of parliament issues, discipline, air chance, years to integrate personal union. Okay, so you can integrate after 40 years instead of 50. Infantry compatibility, GAF capacity, and modifier to legitimacy. Then we have actually path to conquer Iberia, conquer Italy, and go into the HRE. And here you see this, I'm not sure how it works. I mean that Spain will be raised as a subject nation under personal union of Angevin Kingdom. So do you have to conquer whole Iberia to get it? I mean, if I conquered Iberia, I would just keep it under my rule anyway. I mean, on the other hand, you probably just can get these modifiers, which are not really OP, and then integrate the union, but these modifiers do not seem to be worth it. Then, and I think this is controversial, because there's a mission that allows you to seed British culture, Anglois, to French culture group, which is of course great. You can, just accept the whole French culture group. At the same time, you start as England. It's kind of an abomination that you're taking your culture group to the culture group of French. I think some people from the British Isles might be triggered about that. Claim the Empire title, which is gonna change your name, and it's gonna be a different name depending on your government types. I love it the most, I think. The small things, right? The small things. So if you're a monarchy, it's gonna be Angevin Empire. Pretty simple. If you're a republic, it's Angevin Republic. Also pretty simple, but if you're a theocracy, you're Angevin Holy State. This is just beautiful. And if somehow you manage to fall from grace, you're gonna be a duchy. As for the mission tree content, there's also some rebalance about the parliaments, which is also good because it's also, making the golden century a bit more viable, because these changes are viable for the golden century. So let's see, we'll be able to reset current issue in the parliament, which is, I don't think, much used, because if you take something, you just use it right away. But I guess you just got some unlucky things and you want to get it in something new, you might reset it, but I don't think it's gonna be used much. The bribes are a bit rebalanced, meaning that you have, if your parliament is huge, you have out of seats, Some of the bribes you can see are gonna work for multiple cities, for multiple seats, and also the costs of some of the bribes will depend on the loyalty of your states. So the more loyal they are, the less you're gonna pay for the bribes. Then some additional events like the Royal Society of London, Innovativeness, Institution Growth, the Angevin Age, Cooperation Cost, Henry VIII, the Queen Elizabeth. Oh, there's gonna be a path of the events around the religions. It's gonna be not that straightforward. I like it. And Anglicanism in the Holy Empire, so potentially can make it dominant faith in the HR if you go this path. Pax Britannica, which is giving you prestige decay, yearly legitimacy, Parliament debate backing chance, and reduced liberty desire on the other continents. And that's it. In the next week, as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna take a look at the minor great powers, maybe Portugal, and unique government reforms and additional estate privileges that will be coming in 1.35. So, for today, thank you so much for watching. Sorry for not posting the dev diary last week. I was really busy with Masters Universals this week. I was also as well. So if you do enjoy this dev diary and want me to record more, remember to leave a like just for the amount of the algorithm to push it further. And for today, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel to get notified about the next week's dev diary, and I'm gonna see you very, very soon. Bye!